We're going to walk through how to update your Meris LVX to the latest firmware 1.1, step by step. So the first thing that you need to do is go to the Meris website and find the product page where the LVX sits. Click into the LVX. Now I scroll down to the bottom and I had to input my name and email address and then submit that. And that has now sent me a link from Meris to my email address, which I'll click into. So I'm going to download. Don't want any of that. I'm going to download that file to my computer. Shouldn't take too long. Okay, so that is downloaded. I'm putting that onto my desktop over here. No, doesn't want to go there. So I'm going to drop that down there on my screen. And we now need to move over to the LVX. So I'm going to start this up. But in order to do so, we need to get it into what Meris calls firmware mode, which I think you hold 1 and 3 down whilst turning on. And as you can see on the screen now, hopefully, if that works, we're ready to accept file. So the next stage is to connect your computer, whatever that may be, to the Meris LVX. So I've got a MacBook Pro. I'm going to connect that via this USB cable. Sorry, C3PO. To the back of my LVX. Again, not sure if you can see that. It just connects there to the back of the LVX. So we are now connected via USB from my computer to the LVX. So we want to add the LVX firmware update data onto the drive. Just literally click and drop it. And as you'll see now on your Meris LVX, we're installing the firmware update. There we go, and that is now installed. So we're now going to eject the LVX from our computer. You can see the graphic here, which is essentially for your power supply. So to remove the power supply, and now plug that back in and restart it. And that should be that. It's just taking slightly longer than normal to restart. And there we go. And a quick way to check if that has worked is to go over to your LVX, go to modifiers, and you'll see now a new hold modifier that is part of the firmware update. If you want to know what the hold modifier and some of the other fantastic features of the new firmware update are, then subscribe to the channel. So next week, I will drop that video displaying to you some of my favorite elements of the new firmware update. I drop videos here every Monday and Wednesday around all things to do with guitars, gear, and sound creation. And if that sounds like your thing, then I'd love to have you here on the journey with me. Any questions, thoughts around the Meris LVX, drop them in comments below. There's some links here to the other videos that I've shot around the Meris LVX, where I share with you what I think is fantastic about the LVX, what I think the problem is with the LVX, but probably most importantly, how you can generate fantastic sounds from it without too much of a headache.